live video. People wanted to learn how to paint certain subjects. One being grass, I guess. So when I paint my Florida paintings, some people have asked, how do I get the grass to look like a 3D? So in this video tutorial, I'm gonna try to make it a quick lesson. It's gonna be about grass, how I do my grasses, how to turn a 2D object and subject into 3D. So I have an 8x10 stretch canvas. All right. So let me show you how it's done then. Let me show you, I'm painting in acrylics. So cad yellow medium, alizarin crimson, which is more like the magenta, raw sienna. I have cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, and white. And I may be adding some burnt umber. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see. So let's start by giving myself a horizon line, how far up we're gonna do this. About right here, I guess would be good. Yeah, right about right here. See if I can make a semi-straight line. Hope everybody's doing good during these confinements. So this is the base color I use to do my grasses. I'll start with cad yellow, alizarin crimson, okay, which will give me like an orange. Then I will add a little bit of ultramarine blue to give it that brownish greenish tint. All right, that's the foundation. So if you don't have any like sienna, and you could do the same thing with maybe raw sienna or burnt sienna with ultramarine blue, you can make the same colors. But let's say you didn't have any sienna on board and you only had burnt umber and you didn't want it that dark. So use color harmony. Yellow, red, and blue will give you like a greenish brown, and it's a nice base to start your grasses with. So let's go, let me show you how it's done. First I will start off with take a whole bunch of yellow, dip in my yellows because it's weaker than red. Then go to my reds. Already you can see I have like an orangey color, but you won't see it very well. You'll see it on canvas. Add a little bit of blue, maybe a little bit more red. There you go. That will be a good base to start. And I could vary the intensity of that grass, whether I want it dark or lighter. If I want it darker, just add a little bit more red and blues. If I want it lighter, just use more yellow. And at this point, I'm not using any white. So as I come towards the foreground, the grass is going to be a little bit darker. Now there's no particular way I'm laying down this grass, just plopping it on there. See here, I'm adding more reds. Because this is canvas, so it's a little bit, it's not as smooth going on as it is if I were to do this on birch. Like I said, I'm not doing this in any particular fashion. So let me see if this is dry. It's almost dry. So let me just continue. Let me just make a sky really quick, just for the sake of doing a composition here. Let's see. Let's do a gray day, whatever. It's gonna be a gray day. So I'm putting ultramarine blue. I'm gonna make some raw sienna. A little bit more raw sienna. It's going to be really gray out that day. Blop, blop, blop. Okay. Let's make some clouds. I'm using a lot of white, a little bit of raw sienna. You can see the contrast between the two colors here. Okay, that's how I know how white my clouds are going to be. And it's okay if there's a little bit of blue mixed into it. No worries. If this turns out to be a painting, well, you know, so be it. But the main focus today was mainly just working on grasses. It was not so much to be a painting, but I just want to give a whole perspective. All right, let's lots of white. And the reason I'm using sienna inside my white is just to warm up the clouds a little bit. All right. I'll work on that later on. Although this is just grass, I think it'll be helpful if I show some kind of other subjects mixed into it so you can see how I developed the painting. So let's, for the sake of it, let's put a little bit of a creek here somewhere. Let's say, whatever, the creek's gonna go it's a little bit dark, but it's okay. It's just a representation. Now, another point. Okay, as I came forward, you could see the creek bed, you know, things are more, should I say, banded together, meaning that it's fuller, right? Now, you got to pretend like you're standing on this grass. As I go further back, the creek will look more, should I say, spotty at times because you're looking through the grasses, like right here, an example. So I'll just put like, you know, skip along here a little bit, because this will be grass that will just like impair your vision as you're looking further back. And let's put some right here too, just whatever. Okay, all right, let me just finish this part. For those of you just joining, this is Acrylics. So I'm getting, I want like that zigzag format. Okay. So now let's read out the land. So I have a little bit darks here. So I'm gonna read to see what looks good. So back here, I'm gonna make it really light because it's further away and more grayed down yellows in the back of this prairie. And as I come forward, I'm gonna darken a few spots here and there. And what I'm gonna do is try to add highlights where I would like the viewer's eyes to focus on a little bit more. Okay, because I had someone show me a painting and I was trying to direct them and tell them that where you want the person to focus, the viewers to focus, you want highlights in those areas and bring that area more into focus, as opposed to make, you know, parts where you don't want people to focus, just make them blurry, because it's natural for the eye to go where it's more focused and not so much where it's out of focus, because it bothers the eye. So it's just like a psychological trick. So let's start with the background. I usually always start with the background and then move my way forward when I do grasses especially. So let's say yellow, a lot of white, maybe a little bit of sienna. The sienna is just gonna tone it down a bit. So let's see. And if certain parts are too light and you can't see the difference, then you will darken that up. So then I'm going to use the side of my brush. Certain parts I will add the highlights, and I'll add a little bit more yellow, a little bit more sienna here and there. And I'm doing it really lightly too. I'm letting some of the undercolor show through. See, like right back here, I let this, well, I'm not the whole line, but here. And I'm just using this whole side of the brush to do this. Okay, some here, some sienna, and you can see already that, I don't know how you can, if the camera's really showing it really good, but it kind of grays down the color a little bit. And then after this, because right now really what I'm doing is put some highlights and midtones at the same time, because after that I'm going to add the darks where I feel like I need the darks. So let's do this side a little bit. This place needs a little bit of highlight too as well. So instead of using, as I'm moving forward, I'm using a little bit less yellow and I'm using more of the raw sienna, because some of these grasses are kind of like a yellowish. Let me see. So I usually work with my highlights first and then I'll go in there and fix some of the darks. So let me show you right here. Let me add some darks. So I'm going to go alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue. Let me put a little bit of yellow in this. And these colors are thinned out too. And I'm just putting it in any particular way. I'm not just up and down, because grass doesn't really go just up and down. All right, you gotta think movement. All right, show movement and all this. So I want to describe movement. That's what I'm trying to say. So just right now I'm using is 3 colors. I'm using yellow, red, and blue. Okay. And varied fashion. Some darks here, maybe a little bit of darks there, just to show edges of that river. Now you can see how how we just started. We started with the initial just 2D by adding the highlights coming forwards and just darks here and there, how we're able to progress and show, hey, you know, this is grass. You can tell this is grass. So, and remember, this is acrylic, so you work in layers, all right? So, up and down. Now you see the importance of adding that dark color in the back that I just did. And the beauty of acrylics is that I'm able to do this like in quick succession. So let's see, let's put some here. I'll work on this a little bit afterwards. Let's put some here. And I'm not really worried about what it looks like. Not yet, at least. over some greens here and there. Closer towards the edges of the water because, you know, some of these grasses have access to water, so they're not as dry. Got to think of these things, huh? Even I'm going over some of my work as well. Patchy grasses here and there. And I make them tall towards the front because they're right in front of your face, so if anything they'll be taller in front of you, and as you look back the grass will look more flat and even and not so much texture. There we go, some here. And notice I'm using a big fan brush. I mean, I used to have a small one. I don't know what I did with it. So you got some glimmer of sun on the prairie back there. And I'm going to add some of those highlights here too, toward the foreground. Hippity Scott, just skip, 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 skip. And I'm leaving some of these darks, which was initially the grounds. And then as I get closer, just, you know, like, down some of it towards here, give it like a zigzag pattern. There you go, make it a little bit darker and shape that cloud a little bit. We'll make it like a thunderhead. Those of you from Florida would know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Just another day in Florida. Everglades. Boom. Background trees, raw sienna, and alizarin, raw sienna and ultramarine blue, but with less white. So let's just place them back here. Remember, they're not the main subject of this painting, so I'm not really focusing too much on those. Just for visual interest. Maybe a little more blue. Trees. Tree here, tree there, tree there, tree there, tree there, tree here. Let's add a few here. You don't have to be too detailed about it. That wasn't too pretty, hold on. If you want to wipe out what you did, you just use water and the brush, no paint on it. So maybe that was not the right brush to use. Let's use more of a liner brush. Some in the back here as well. Let's make their reflection. Yeah, this is a big difference between birch panels and canvas. I would have had a little better control of the paint and the reflection. Let's throw one flying away here. There you go. I guess that would work. Yeah, I'm good with that. You know what, let me fix over here. It's bothering me. Use thicker paints. Some muted grass. So the highlights will show a lot better. Hold on, one more little thing that's bothering me. Just show some darks along the edges here of the water. You notice I'm not being too specific on how the paint goes on there, right? I mean, you notice I'm just like going over what I just did, just like here and there, just to create spots. So if I want to show light here, put something darker behind it. So put some darker grasses. Okay, that's the whole key. It's just, you know, if you want to show like a 3D, you have to play with the lights and the darks. So I think you got the point now. So I laid out pretty much a foundation. This is a recap. I laid out pretty much a foundation. Okay, and then I started out with my mid-tone highlights just to describe the lay of the land. And as I got closer, I started adding darker colors. And as well, because this is acrylic, I was able to add lighter colors on top of the darks and just continue to pile on one step at a time, just like, you know, how should I say, just like one on top of the edge of each other. And at the end, you just get this effect of seeing grass. All right, so you turn it more into a 3D subject now. So I mean, I hope this was helpful to some of you. I think this is the shortest video I ever did. White clouds. I hope this was helpful. I mean, if you have any questions still about some of the technique that I used in this painting, leave them in the comments, and I will try to help you out as much as I can. And with all that being said, I hope you guys stay safe. Let me see if you guys see any questions.